Hello, my people. I want to ask you a question today. Have you ever won an argument with your partner and still felt like you lost something? You put all your efforts, you screamed, you kicked, you swore, and hallelujah, you succeeded. But deep down, you still felt like you lost something. You're not happy. Maybe you proved your point. Maybe you had all the facts. Maybe you were completely correct. But somehow, after the argument ended, the atmosphere changed. The house became quiet. The distance between you grew. And instead of feeling victorious, you felt disconnected. If you've ever experienced that, then today's conversation is for you because one of the fastest ways to damage a relationship is to make being right more important than being connected. And sadly, many of us do it without even realizing it. You're supposed to give me 3.7 kg of pounded yam, but you are giving me 4 kg. You can imagine that. God will not answer your prayers. He continues. Whereas a simple take the 3.7 kg and leave the 0.3 kg could have done the trick. A few months ago, social media became fascinated with something called the bed theory. The idea is simple. Imagine your spouse looks out the window and says, "Look at that beautiful bed." Now, at that moment, they are not testing your intelligence. They are not conducting an examination. They are simply inviting you into a moment. But some people respond by saying, "That's not a bed, that's a pigeon." Now, technically, they may be correct, but emotionally, they missed the invitation. The moment was never about identifying the bed. The moment was about sharing a connection using the beauty of whatever type of bed was there. Simple, not a lesson on names of animals or birds. And when I heard that, I thought to myself, how many relationships suffer because people keep correcting when they should be connecting? How many conversations become argument because somebody feels the need to prove a point always? Things have to be a certain way always. How many partners walk away feeling unheard because the other person was too busy being right? You know what is interesting? Most relationship problems don't begin with major issues. They begin with small moments, tiny moments, moments that seem insignificant at the time. A wife says, "I had a difficult day." And the husband responds, "Well, your day couldn't have been that difficult because what?" Immediately, he starts presenting evidence. He starts presenting fact. He starts presenting logic. But she wasn't asking for evidence. She wasn't asking for a debate. She was sharing an emotion. And sometimes the worst thing you can give an emotional person is a logical argument. Not because logic is bad, but because timing matters. People want understanding before solutions. I remember hearing a Nigerian media personality, Toke Makinwa, speak about some of the struggles she experienced in marriage. As I listened, one thing stood out. Many relationships become unhealthy when people stop trying to understand each other and start trying to defend themselves. Think about that. The wife says, "You don't spend enough time with me." What she means is, "I miss you." But what the husband hears is, "You are failing as a husband." So instead of listening, he begins defending himself. Then the husband says, "I am exhausted." What he means is, "I need support." But what the wife hears is, "You are not important." Now she starts defending herself. And before long, nobody is listening. Everybody is defending. Everybody is explaining. Everybody is trying to be right, and the relationship suffers. Can I tell you something? I have observed over the years. Sit back and let me shock you a little. Most people don't actually want to be understood. They want to be declared correct. There is a difference, a huge difference. Understanding says, "Help me see things from your perspective." Being right says, let me explain why your perspective is wrong. One builds connection, the other builds walls. I remember hearing Ebuka Obi-Uchendu speak about marriage and conflict resolution. One thing I appreciated was the emphasis on communication and returning to difficult conversations instead of allowing pride to take over. Because pride has destroyed many good relationships. Pride makes apologies difficult. Pride makes listening difficult. Pride makes compromise difficult. Pride whispers, if you apologize, you lose. But love says, if you apologize, the relationship wins. And honestly, that is one of the greatest lessons any couple can learn. Look at it this way. No matter what is involved, you are not enemies. You are partners, teammates, husband and wife. The problem is the enemy, not your partner. Now, let's take an example. Imagine your spouse says, you hurt my feelings. Now, there are two possible responses. Response number one, how did I hurt your feelings? I didn't mean it. It is your imagination. You are overreacting. You are taking it the wrong way. Stop imagining things. Response number two, I'm sorry you are hurting. Tell me what happened. Have I done anything wrong? Notice the difference. And then he finishes with, how can I make it right? The first response focuses on defending yourself. The second response focuses on understanding your partner. And most people remember how you made them feel far longer than they remember the details of the argument, because being right does not automatically make you effective. You can be right and still be insensitive. You can be right and still damage trust. You can be right and still make your partner feel lonely. That's why wisdom is often more valuable than correctness. We are not talking about replacing right with wrong to please anybody here. No, wisdom knows when to speak. Wisdom knows when to listen. Wisdom knows when a hug is better than a lecture. Wisdom knows when understanding is more important than winning. I want you to think about your last disagreement. Not the issue, not the argument, not who was correct. Think about the feeling. Did your partner feel hurt? Did they feel respected? Did they feel safe expressing themselves? Because at the end of the day, that is what people remember. Nobody lies awake at night thinking, thank goodness, my spouse proved me wrong. But many people lie awake wishing they had felt understood. And that's why I believe one of the most important questions you can ask yourself during an argument is this: what I am trying to prove, is it necessary? Is it worth it? Do I want to be right for the relationship, or I want to be right for my ego? Sometimes you can have the perfect argument and still create distance. Close the distance and the argument may disappear. And if it doesn't, the ground will now be fertile to discuss. Sometimes you can win the debate and lose intimacy. Nurture the intimacy and attitude will change and the debate disappears. Sometimes you can prove your point and damage the relationship, except that was your intention from the word go. That is far too expensive a price to pay. So the next time your spouse shares a feeling, listen. The next time they tell you about their day, listen. The next time you feel the urge to interrupt and correct, pause. Take a moment, ask yourself, what does my partner need right now? Do they need correction or do they need connection? That one question can change a marriage. It can change a relationship. It can change a family. Let me leave you with this. The happiest couples are not the couples who never disagree. They are the couples who understand that the relationship is more important than winning the argument. If there is need to establish that point, a future enabling environment can do the trick. And winning shouldn't be the focus, because being right may win the moment, but understanding wins the heart. And when you win the heart, everybody wins. I am Aret Cyril, and this is Family is Bare. If this message spoke to you in any way, share it with someone you love and tell me in the comments, have you ever realized that you were trying to be right when you should have been trying to understand? Until next time, take care of your family because family is bare.